When you look at this logo, what is the most striking detail to you? Is it the gold and green color scheme? Is it the half contrast between light and dark colors? You can find many details in this one image, but the W is what's supposed to catch your interest. It's all too common that colleges will use letters for their logos. Wayne is no exception. And the W has become the defining mark of the university, whether it's the name, the logo, the mascot, the sports teams, etc. In the name of school spirit, those who are enthusiastic show their support in the same way, making a W with their hands, like so. Taking the W is certainly what it's meant to be about, but one man has taken this to a different level, using it to his advantage to help others in times of need and inspiring hundreds of students along the way. This man is Jack Wallace, aka the Winsday Guy. The Winsday Guy has been a huge proponent of the story up to date, brightening the moods of those who witness his captivating weekly motivation. For months now, his posts have garnered widespread acclaim as he carries students throughout their weeks and classes. But up to now, these posts have all we really come to see of Jack, unless you may have had any classes with him. You may not have stopped to think about the guy behind the posts, and how he succeeds the way he does with them. So who is the Winsday Guy really? And we are live here. So, Jack the Winsday Guy Wallace, very excited to have you here today.
I'm really excited to be here.
Jack was very enthusiastic when I reached out to him for an interview. We discussed matters outside of the trend, but also touched on his own personal experiences since posting to the story. I had a lot of fun getting to talk to Jack, and trust me when I say this is not something you want to miss out on. So without further ado, join me as I talk face to face with Mr. Winsday. Thank you so much for choosing to join this interview. It really means a lot that you could dedicate your time today. So everyone on this story and in the freshman class kind of knows you as the Winsday Guy. This guy who gives weekly motivation on Snapchat by declaring a weekly day of the win and telling the players to keep their heads up. Now, there's that, but there's obviously a person behind this public persona, and we want to get a sense of who you are as a separate individual. So to start off, introduce yourself and then just kind of let us know more about the guy behind the Winsday.
Yeah, so my name is Jack Wallace. I'm a cross-country runner at Wayne State, student athlete, and I'm biomedical engineer major. And probably my biggest hobby is reading. I read all the time, so I like some fiction and I like nonfiction. I read a lot of stuff. And number one, I really like people. I like talking to people. I like being around people. And the biggest reason for that is, especially in high school, I notice this a lot more. It's a little harder to notice when you're in college, but everyone, especially in the first hour of the day, the early morning class, everyone is completely miserable. They're just they don't want to be there. They're just sad, and I'm just that's so sad. I'm I'll be a little bit happy today. And like I said, I've noticed with the Wayne story, and I noticed with, even in high school and stuff, just being a little bit happy, just, it changes them, changes yourself too, so it's been a big part of my life doing this stuff, really.
Yeah, very inspiring indeed. And actually, just a kind of a quick question, what's a book that you would recommend for everyone right now?
Right now I'm reading The Alchemist, and it's about one's own journey through the personal destiny, and it's honestly one of the best books I've ever read, so I will recommend anyone to read The Alchemist, especially if you're trying to find out, what do I need to do with my life? How do I follow what my soul really tells me? It's about following the heart, really. So that's a big thing that I try to do with my life, is follow the heart. And so that's a book that really, gets you inspired for that.
Yeah,
puts you
nice.
in that mindset. Yeah.
Definitely a good self-improvement book, indeed. Yeah. So, of course, we know you as a staple around Wayne State, making people happy from the very first thing in the morning. But your charisma is not exclusive to Wayne itself. In fact, the way you're known here would likely hold true if you attended another college like Oakland or MSU, especially considering their community stories on Snapchat. So I'm wondering, and like you said, you were a student athlete. Was that part of your incentive to choose Wayne State? And how has that decision changed your quality of life up to now?
Yeah, so definitely was a big part of choosing Wayne State was the running. And we have a lot of great athletic programs here, and there's a lot of great opportunities I have as a athlete here that I wouldn't get at other schools. For example, for like our on-campus housing, we get affordable housing in these nice apartments that, well, they're not amazing apartments. They're good apartments, you know.
Yeah.
Like we have to bring all our own furniture and stuff. It's not like a hotel or anything like that. No, but they're just like nice apartments where you get to chill. And other colleges, they just have you. Usually with one other athlete in their own dorm, but we're with like the entire team. We're all on the same floor of this apartment building, so we're all, you know, our team's very connected. We all do stuff with each other, and we all, you know, it's like, oh, it's Friday night, let's go watch football, or let's go play Smash, or let's go, you know, play cards or something like that, you know. So
Yeah.
that part of Winsday, you know, really makes it worth it for me. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's nice to get to know a little bit more about yourself. Thank you for sharing that information.
Yeah.
And so, up to now, like the community story has been a part of your experience here, and we've seen how it's handled itself within the last semester. It's terrible. But with
it's something.
yeah, but with your Wednesday motivation segments, you always sneak in a bright spot that has brought people together, whether they are feeling the win on a Wednesday or venting about the lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as it goes, everything has a backstory to it. So, what was your motivation and or inspiration for starting the Wednesday trend? Did you have prior experience posting motivational stuff, or in the event of a dopamine rush, you were just like, I need to share this with other people?
So I guess the backstory with the Wednesday thing is my older brother started doing it just on his. I post it to my regular story as well as a Wayne State story. So I've been doing that throughout high school, posting it to just my regular story, and my brother started doing it to his. And for me, it was always inspiring me to do things. And for example, like I wear like suits a lot. Like I'm not wearing a suit right now because you know I kind of woke up a little bit ago, but. Usually to school and stuff, I'm like, oh, I have this time period where I'm doing something hard, I need to concentrate, I always wear a suit, and a lot of people don't like to dress up, and so that's doing stuff like that, like the positivity, you know, dressing up, always showing up to be my best, you know, that's what I always try to do. And so the Wednesday thing was really, I was like, it's kind of funny, you know, I wonder how maybe it would help somebody to show up with their best if I let them know, like, hey, today's Wednesday, like today's your day to go out there and show up to be your best. And I think it has helped people, like a lot of strangers, like people who you never think, like obviously strangers at Wayne State, but people like in my high school, like, you know, popular girls that would never talk to me, like they come to me, like, I saw that, you know, and that made me feel like today's like the Wednesday, maybe today will be good. I was like, oh wow, like that, like I would never have a regular conversation with this person, like that is funny. And so that's why I kept doing it. And at first it was just like random images, like it wasn't images of me, but after a while, like I started becoming like Mr. Wednesday and the Wednesday guy. I was like, well, I'll just post myself in my suit ready to do my best. And so yeah, that's how it's going.
So you've been doing this for a very long time now.
Yeah, I've been doing this for several years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely great to get that progress and to see how the reaction has been so far. As it stands now, the community story has just over 1,100 people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is a lot of people, yeah. But when it started to gain traction, it was like way below that.
Oh yeah, it was like 400 to like 600 people maybe.
Yeah, but even so, that's still a lot of people who are seeing your weekly posts. And with the positive attention you've gotten, it's likely enhanced your time at Wayne in a way that you couldn't have imagined. So,
oh yeah.
In your best summary possible, how has the Wednesday trend changed your experience at Wayne for better or for worse?
Definitely for better, I would say, because it's funny, because even just walking down the street, you know, some people will film me and be like, oh, it's the Wednesday guy. It's like, I know one time someone's like, yeah, I was memorized, I almost walked in the street and got hit by a car because I was staring at it, and I was like, to me, you know, little stuff like that, it's funny. It's like just one of those things where people like think that they have no impact on the world around them, and they don't realize that just one smile, just one, hey, good morning, one, how you doing, like to someone down the street, like that changes things. It's like if everyone was just not like a little bit nicer, but just like today I'm gonna make one person smile. You know, like that's a lot more people smiling than otherwise would be completely miserable, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
And so just being around and realizing, oh wow, people are looking at that story, they're actually noticing it, they're talking about it, and it's making what I walk around through campus, it seems more positive for me, and I hope that it's a more positive like aroma for others, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you
So-
certainly got me smiling right now.
Yeah.
Just telling me about this experience. I'm sure that the trend has attracted a lot of attention to you in your personal life as well. But this ultimately comes with the downside of some potentially weird experiences having the status of like local celebrity, if you will. Have you had anything like those that were really like noteworthy or stood out compared to other interactions you had at Wayne State?
I'm trying to think. A lot of times, like when a lot of cars drive by me, like they'll honk at me, and so some of those are kind of weird. Like it's funny, like I love it, you know. But it's like it's not scary. But sometimes you just walk in and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh, today's just another day. Then a car will come by, start honking at me, and going crazy. I'm like, Mr. Winsday Guy, oh my god! I'm like, oh, what's up? And one event that was pretty crazy was I was at the Wayne State bookstore. I was buying something. I forget what I was buying. I think just a binder or something. And the lady looks at me. She's very miserable. Like she seemed like she's having a bad day. Like she's frowning. She's like, "Are you the Winsday guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." She's like, "Oh." And like didn't smile, didn't say anything. Just acknowledged the fact of that she knew who I was. And just went back to her like. I guess she was just having a really rough day. I was like, because I was smiling, I didn't know what to say. It was the most awkward moment in my life. I'm like, she seemed like upset to see me, as if like, oh, it's the positive guy. Wow. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, but that was funny. I was like, she knew who I was, but she didn't seem happy to see me.
Yeah, I feel like she should have turned her frown upside down.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Like she's like, oh, like just say like, oh, I like your story or something like that, or just like a smile or something. But no, she was persistent with the frown, you know, and you know there's people just like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just get those NPCs in your life. You just
Yeah.
see one time, it's like I don't know why, but that person was there one time, and yeah, that was just a moment that stood out to me.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Actual NPC behavior.
Yeah,
For real.
like she was an NPC. When I
Kind of keeping up with the trend of attention, posting to more than 1,100 people is a pretty daunting thing. I hope I'm not making you more nervous by telling you this.
No.
And with this many people, like the story you told me just now, there's bound to be someone who's maybe critical, even if the majority leans towards what you do. And you've certainly maintained the confidence to keep posting up to now. But in certain moments, do you ever find yourself doubting parts about the trend or your performance?
Not anymore, because I've been doing this for a long time. But when I started in high school, like my sophomore year in high school, that's when I started, okay, I'm gonna wear a suit every day. I'm gonna, start posting these things. And it was really, when I first started, it was like, honestly, mostly a social experiment with like the people around me in high school. And I'm like, are people gonna think I'm weird? Like, thinking like this guy's crazy. Like, why is he posting these weird images? Why is he dressing up? Like, and that's what I thought I was gonna get. But I was like, oh, people are just gonna think I'm really weird. But I was like, whatever. Like, I am really weird or something. I don't care. Like, I am who I am, and that's what's important. Again, more important than following your heart is being yourself. And so I'm like, this is who I am. I'm gonna be myself and go with it. And no one has ever been critical. Like, I've never had anyone negative. Like, I have people who say they like my suits. Like, people have said that they love, like, I've never had anyone criticize the Wednesday thing. Like, everyone loves it. Like, everyone, like, usually I take breaks during, like, Christmas breaks because, like, everyone's on break. They're just not really thinking about life. Like,
Yeah.
just, like, they're just chilling. And so I'm like, there's no really need for this. But, like, whenever I come back, like, I get several people like, oh, it's the comeback, let's go. Like, the grind starts up again, winter semester.
Yeah, I do remember seeing someone actually post like, oh, it's so pleasing to see the Winsday guy return.
Right. Well, and back to high school, like, I had doubts. Like, yeah, at first I was like, I doubted it completely. I was like, yeah, this is just be stupid, but, I'll be stupid. But then by the end of high school, like, I would say, like, not trying to brag, I'm very good at communicating with people, and I communicate with, like, most people. Like, there's very few people who I'm like, oh, I don't like that person, I can't talk to that person. Like, I can talk to most people, and that was true at the end of high school as true it is now. And, like, at the end of high school, like, one person came up to me, this is on my graduation days, like, he told me, he's like, you're the only person who no one thinks you're weird for doing what you do. Like, everyone thinks, like, you're more normal than, like, normal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I act, like, more strange than people normally would, but people, like, they're very accepting of it, and that's been interesting to me, and And like I said, the most positive thing is it lets me to a lot of interactions with people, and I've been able to, really connect with my peers, which has been very interesting to be able to talk to, because everyone's very interesting. Like a lot of people are afraid to talk to people, but people are so interesting. Like I said, I just love talking to people, and so it's been able to, over the years, being myself has made people kind of sense that, oh, he's himself, he's being genuine, I can talk to this person as a genuine human being, not with, ego, not with, oh, I need to get something out of this interaction. It's like, oh, it's just the cool guy, they're just the Winsday guy, let me just have a regular conversation with this guy, because he's genuine. And so that's the hope of the impression I try to give off to people, just the one genuine person who's just trying, be a little bit positive,
Awesome. So would you say that built-up charisma over time has kind of increased your confidence with the trend as opposed to continuously like having spurs of doubt?
Oh yeah, for sure. Now now like I feel like, oh, I can just, post something positive and people will realize, oh, it's the Winsday guy, and they'll take it in a good way, When I started, I had no idea how people were going to take it, and I remember this was last semester, I was in a friend's apartment and we were messing around. I did like a stupid dance, because I like to do stupid dances, like I don't know, I just think it's funny, and they filmed me and they posted it on the Winsday, like Winsday dance, and like a bunch of people started doing the same dance.
So I remember seeing that.
Yeah, they're like, we're doing the Winsday dance, and then I was laughing for an hour straight. I couldn't believe there's like so many people like, we're gonna do this dance, and I swear to you, it was the dumbest dance ever. Like I couldn't have made the dance like look more stupid, but it was so fun. It was just so fun that everyone was like, oh, we gotta do this too. I was like, I love that. And so it's like you said, like made me feel more connected to people, And so
yeah, of course,
it's definitely got more fun the more I've done it. Yeah.
Awesome. So it's very nice to know that you're enjoying doing this trend as well, as opposed to feeling like you have to do it because you're known as this guy.
No, it's not an obligation. It's something I choose to do because it's fun. When it boils down to it, it's fun and helps others, really.
For sure. So this is the last question, which I'm very sad about because I really enjoyed getting to talk to you this morning.
Yes.
And this was a really fun thing to do. But to kind of close off, the trend has gotten very popular within the first few months of our time at Win. But we have a long road ahead before graduation comes by. I actually counted before the interview, and we have about 170 more Wednesdays until May 2026, which is a long time. And so as the years go by, the classes are going to get harder and more stressful no matter what major you're in, and people will need your kind of motivation to keep them going. Do you plan on keeping up the Wednesday post for that long, or is there a point where you feel like you'll move on and focus on other things? What's your take on that?
I imagine I'd keep doing it. I mean, life evolves, change is ever changing, and so I don't, you never know what's going to happen, especially a couple years down the road. Like, I definitely tell you, like, next year for sure, like, definitely would be, I'm not planning to change it, but, you never know when things happen, So I try not to predict the future too much. I just try to, go with the flow, what's going on now. And so the now, I'm going to keep doing it now because it's the now, but, as I said, things are going to get more stressful, my running career is going to advance, my school career is going to be more challenging, maybe, there might be more internships, work opportunities, not just for me, but for everyone. And so everyone's going to grow up and become adults. But I hope at the end of the day, they still remember, where they came from, being this young person, that childlike experience of your first year of college. And remember, it's Wednesday's always around the corner, no matter what's changing, no matter what's going on, it's always coming.
For sure. I feel like this is something that people are going to keep with them for a very long time, especially after the first year. Yeah. All right. Well, that is the end of my questions. Thank you so much for joining. It was really enjoyable to get to talk to you, and we hope that wherever you go in the future, the road lies very brightly ahead of you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I want to give a huge thanks to Jack for agreeing to an interview. He's an amazing person in real life, and if you see him, consider showing him some love. We've come to know Jack more over time and see how he shines a positive light on the Wayne story. His continuous posts serve to lift us up when we're at our worst and keep our heads up through thick and thin. Whether or not he'll continue is up to the waves of time. But Jack shows us every day that there's always a reason to make someone smile, even if it seems like there's nothing to smile about. And like we said, his posts are surely something none of us will ever forget. Until next time, I'm Andrew Rassam, and the Winsday Guy is the story at Wayne.